sound on there, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So last month we were in Fast Company. Next is Wired.
Excellent.
These guys want to be in Wired.
Very cool. And so who are you?
I'm T.A. McCann, the CEO
and who are
founder
these guys?
of Gist. These are the Gist developers, the whole team, nothing but the team, all writing code all day.
Yeah, very crammed in. Great startup.
No, we're trying to spend money in the right places.
Yeah. On good big Macs.
big monitors. We like those Samsungs and really fast Macs.
Very cool. So come on in here. So this is your office too. Nice cheap
No,
IKEA.
this is not my office.
Oh really?
This is our conference room.
Oh, awesome.
This is our interview room. We don't have a conference room, and we share this little space with another startup called Every, which just announced a big partnership around semantic search with the Washington Post. So we were both incubated outside of Vulcan Capital.
Very cool.
So we are kind of the
Vulcan is Paul Allen's company.
That's right. Yeah. So Paul's invested in,
Do you think Paul's going to hit one out of the park this time?
I hope so.
Because he keeps investing in the weirdest stuff that never goes to anywhere, you know?
Well, that's them, right? I mean, you've seen what we're doing. Hopefully you wouldn't think that what we're doing is sort of the weirdest stuff, right?
Yeah.
We've driven a lot, I think, and tried to focus on what are the problems that people really have, and then how can we deliver a solution with a very small team to get that in the market. So.
And we're here in Seattle, so we're not in Silicon Valley anymore.
Look, it's the sun, man. The sun's coming through.
Yeah.
It's great. Sunny day in Seattle.
See, I swear, you guys have some deal with the weather up here, because anytime a video camera comes out, the sun comes out.
I'm recruiting. Come to Seattle. It's sunny.
At Microsoft, we used to make fun of it, that recruiting season was the summer, because that's when you wanted to fly the families out and make a big pitch, right. You know. Because if they saw the sun, they would think it's like that all year round. If they came here in December, you know.
We've made it through. We coded with our heads down all through December, and now we're like, okay, now we can start recruiting more efficiently.
Yeah. So what is Gist?
Gist is an application that combines your inbox with the web.
Yeah.
And for all of us who are dealing with information overload, too many emails in our inbox, it helps you organize that because it organizes emails around people and companies, which are the things that most of us in business sort of care about. And then once we've organized or sort of extracted all this value out of the inbox, we can start adding other stuff in there. So we automatically discover my friends who are on Twitter. Yeah. We, as of yesterday, shipped Facebook Connect. So I can now import my friends from Facebook as well as my inbox, as well as LinkedIn, and bring those all together, helping me build a stronger relationship with those guys.
Yeah.
We also then stitched together sort of this, we started with the email, we pulled all the stuff from the inbox, we organized it all around people and companies. We brought in new information that we call sort of suggested facts, like a picture of Robert, or Robert on Twitter, or Robert's blog. And then we start bringing in all that content too. So prior to this meeting, I was able to catch up on you in the news, catch up on you on Twitter, and it took me no time because all I had to do was go to your profile and Gist. Yeah. When was the last time we emailed? Did you send me that attachment? Who else do we know in common? What are you doing on Twitter? What's going on with you in the news?
Yeah.
All brought together
so
automatically.
You were on my show, what, 2 or 3 months ago, 3 or 4 months ago, something like that.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I can know if you want me to check it out.
No. So what's changed since you were on WorkFast with me?
The mission's still definitely the same. What's changed is we continue to add new services on the kind of the contact side. So now we have Twitter and Facebook supported. We continue to add new content sources. So for example, we pull in Dow Jones data now into a company feed. So when I go to a new company...
Can you give me a look at it?
Yeah,
show me what it sort of looks like?
So this
I'll try not to get too close because you probably have real data in here. Right?
This is my real data, so that's fine. But this is my Gist dashboard. And this is
I'm getting some glare off that window. Let's see if I can get rid of the glare. There we go.
So what I'm showing down the left-hand side here is people that I know and I care about. Just has automatically extracted those from either my contact list, LinkedIn, Facebook, and it's brought me news about this. This is my friend John Musser, who happens to run a site called Programmable Web, which is also a totally cool site that these guys should know about.
It's very excellent.
Yes, and he's a friend of mine, a local entrepreneur here. So this has brought me news about John Musser, so that if I want to sort of keep up to date with him, it did it automatically, and then I can do a quick little email like that. Dear John, congratulations on the mention of you or doing the Omniture launch.
Yep.
One click saves me time, reconnects with John in a highly contextual way. The second thing that I do is I prepare for my day. So down here, I've got my calendar integrated with Outlook, so it talks to Outlook already, brings in my calendar, and then you can see here at 3 o'clock I have a meeting with Robert Scoble, and now I'm going to show you what we call the person detail page, as I was just describing.
Great, more ways to stalk people.
It's all about information and how you use it. Right?
Yeah.
And so what the person detail page is doing is it's brought in a photo already for Robert, the company Robert works for, when I last talked to you, so 5 days ago via email. Down the left is showing me news that mentions you, our correspondence, links that we've exchanged in an email, attachments we've exchanged if we had any, feed items, and or our connections with who we know in common.
Awesome.
And in your case, I don't have this in there, but I'll show you how this works. So you're a SCO Scobalizer,
Yeah,
right?
it's LE though. SCOBLEI. SCOBLEIZER.
So I'm adding this by hand, which will show.
Could add my address if you mind.
I could. And what that's going to do now is sort of bring me inside the same. There's your latest tweet, 14 minutes ago, and over here you'll see all your most recent tweets.
Very cool.
So again, if for a large network of people, I don't have to follow you on Twitter and run to Twitter to sort of figure it out. I can just get that in context of email and news and your suggested facts and a photo to remember what you look like.
This is really, really cool. And it'll bring in LinkedIn as well, or?
Yeah, so it'll show in this case.
I'm not in LinkedIn, so.
Well, what it's doing here is saying Fast Company and who am I connected to on LinkedIn at Fast Company. So here are other connections that are on Fast Company. This is provided to us by LinkedIn as a widget, and we're hoping that those guys will let us into their developer program so we can bring more LinkedIn data here, both in terms of easily inviting you to connect to me on LinkedIn or bringing in more sort of basic profile information into Gist.
This is really cool. It makes the email a lot more productive. What does it pull out of Facebook, by the way? Does it pull out of the messages?
No. We're hoping that Facebook will help us with that too.
Yeah.
We just turned on Facebook Connect yesterday.
Yeah.
Had a really nice exchange with the Facebook dev guys this morning, in fact, who are now using the product. And we're hoping to do even that same kind of integration with Facebook, where we can maybe pull in status updates the same way we're doing with Twitter, or we could pull in the messages to the extent that those are available. And sort of federate those with email messages. So it's largely dependent on what the application provider is going to sort of provide via the API. But as those become available, I mean, it's our job just to, on your behalf, stitch it all together on the back end.
Can I link in that detail page on my blog or on my company website? You know, if I have an about page, everybody has an about page, and they have their executives listed, and they have, this guy runs customer support or whatever. I'd love to be able to link, instead of just saying, Joe Schmo works in customer service, link to a page like this so I can see where he is on Facebook, where he is on Twitter, where he is on email, and how to get him on a phone and all that fun stuff, so that I have a lot more human data about him or her.
So today, most Gist is focused at what I would call a personal productivity tool, as opposed to a content publishing tool or otherwise. You can easily imagine that this kind of whole left-hand side is essentially an aggregation of publicly available data anyway, and the right-hand side is essentially an aggregation of my personal relationship with you, plus or minus a little bit. And so we certainly have plans that this unique URL, which is unique to me and our relationship as opposed to you and Buzz's relationship, will be able to be published at some point, like a personal profile, sort of a la LinkedIn. We can't do that today, but it's as I said, we're really focused on the personal productivity aspect of it, which is.
And then do you have a search built in, so I could search for people? If I'm looking for, like a friend tells me, get a hold of Buzz Bruggeman, he's really cool. I might not know his email address, I might not know his phone number, and I'd love to have a personal search where I can go and try to find him, and put pressure on people to join in the system.
Well, the thing, again, back to the personal productivity aspect, today we are primarily about your contact network and building stronger relationships, as opposed to, which we would call warm contacts, as opposed to cold contacts. LinkedIn is a great source for that, right? If you don't know Buzz Bruggeman, go search for him and try and find a connection. In my case, I know Buzz Bruggeman. I'm just looking to organize my information in my contacts with him. And so today you can search through your own contacts, which I'll certainly show you, and get that information. But we're not really in the business today of how can I search in Robert's contacts, right? Because it's your personal private data. and my personal private data. And the only way that we have a connection is when we do, in fact, have a connection.
Yeah. Are you working with any of the business card scanners that are putting business cards in a cloud system or something like that?
Should I just turn it up?
Yeah, that works a little bit better.
Light's good.
Because I have like 9,000 business cards sitting in my closet. I'm looking at what to do with those. I'm looking at some of the services that you mail all your business cards to, and they put all your contacts up on a website or something like that. Are you making some sort of deal like that where I could import my contacts from a business card collection? Or?
Well, today we support LinkedIn import, direct connection to Outlook and Gmail. And so essentially, if you've ever emailed any one of those people, they'll automatically show up in GIST. You don't have to scan their business card anymore. It's automatically going to happen. That said, if you do an import into Outlook or via one of those, then you'll end up, just put them into Outlook and then boom, they'll come as part of our normal connection to Outlook.
Very cool. Does it do anything to Outlook, or is it just a website that sits alongside of Outlook and helps augment Outlook? Or do you have a toolbar or anything that's inside Outlook to augment the email behavior there?
Yeah, so let's look at that. Let me pull one that's not particularly important.
Sensitive.
So here's Dave Chappelle. So Dave Chappelle and I have organized with Brad Feld an event for next week here in Seattle.
Yep.
And up in the upper right-hand corner you'll see this little GIST logo.
Yep.
And by clicking that, I should be able to bring in GIST data right inside the Outlook sort of pane. We also sort of support, to go back to your other scenario, so let's say I'm meeting with you at 3. This is integrated in Outlook. You'll notice the GIST button here.
Yeah.
Failed to send GIST. Doesn't work because we're in beta. But what should happen here is there'll be a small IE window which is spawned, and then we'll bring in that GIST data that we showed from the web.
Very cool.
So we're trying to blur the line between kind of your desktop experience, especially around Outlook, and the web. And if I'm on the web and I open up an email, so let's go back to that particular view. So let's just go to Buzz Bruggeman. So this is another fast way, so watch how fast this is. So this is my whole list. That's Buzz Bruggeman. I'm going to go into Buzz. There's Buzz who's sitting next to us. There's a particular email, right? By clicking on this email from the web, it opens it in Gmail. So we're blending kind of the Gmail Outlook experience, the Gmail experience or the Outlook experience with what we're doing, and I'm going to show you kind of a slightly different version. So that was on my Mac image, which is kind of GIST plus Gmail. On my IE image, or on my Windows image, I'll just go and do that same sort of search, but you'll see how the messages show up differently because of what's resident.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go to that same Buzz email list. So there's Buzz Bruggeman again. And hopefully you'll see, okay, now, one more time. See how these are lit up right now?
Yeah.
Now I'm going to click on that message. Opens the message in Outlook.
Wow.
So, it's a web component that's opening in Outlook, and presumably now, let's see if I get this to work. Cross my fingers. Come on, baby.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Got
it. Inside of Outlook, so there's 2 people on this message. One happens to be from me to Buzz.
Yeah.
So it has me as a snapshot of me, and it has a snapshot of Buzz. So correspondence, attachments, links, events, news about ActiveWords, or news about Buzz, integrated, quote unquote, inside the Outlook experience.
That's very cool.
So, the other cool thing about this as it relates to sort of some of the other guys who have done stuff in and around Outlook, the touch that we have is so light because we're not doing a huge render of any real data there. We're not doing any indexing local. It's all happening in the cloud. And then we're just making this very small web call only on demand. So I don't need this all the time. I just need it sometimes.
Yeah.
And this works within, a message preview pane, a message, a meeting request, and a contact. So when you're getting ready to email somebody back or call them, you can click that kind of link and get the gist of them right away.
Yeah. How much does this cost to use?
It's still in closed beta, so it's still free.
Still free?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you expecting to charge when it goes out of beta, or?
Yeah, I mean, we're very focused on a business professional audience. I mean, people who see value in their relationships, and so the general direction for the company will be to build a subscription business around a sort of a freemium offering. And when we turn that on, we'll have different sort of SKUs based on probably how much email we index on your behalf. So sort of 30 days, 90 days, or all. How many news queries we do on your behalf. Sort of we could do your top 10, your top 100, your top 300, your top 500. And or how many data sources we look at. Oh, we're only going to look at blogs, we're only going to look at news, we're only going to look at other ones. So those are some of the knobs that we've sort of stitched together on the back end that different users already have told us, hey, I'd be willing to pay X to do Y, and then I'd pay double X to do double Y type of thing. So yeah, we're working definitely on focused business audience that's willing to pay for that kind of time savings or that kind of business value of being able to find and stitch all that stuff together.
Very cool. And we found it at gist.com?
That's right.
Excellent. Thank you so much for giving me a
You're
little
welcome,
look
man.
and talking to me
Thanks.
for a few minutes. So.